Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to One Up Wall Street. I'm Sam. This is a quick video for you guys in the morning looking at some of the movers we're seeing pre-market this morning. We're seeing some pretty big dips, so let's get right into it. Coming over here to Yahoo Finance, first thing we're going to look at is NVIDIA. So if you watched my last video, you know that NVIDIA is facing some trouble with their H20 processors. And that happened on Tuesday of last week. They were trending down the whole rest of the week, and now we see that they're down to under $100, $97, down over 3% today this morning. So over here, Yahoo's nice because you were able to see all of this pre-market movement. You can see pretty big dip here from NVIDIA. Move over to AMD. You see they're down over 2% this morning. Not as big of a dip as NVIDIA, down to $85, right? This one's not as close to AMD's lowest. As you can see there, 52-week range right down here, low 70s or mid 70s. So they still have a little bit to go if they're going to be getting back down to this 52-week low, which actually happened during the Liberation Day event. So they still have a little bit further to fall here, but still some big moves pre-market for them. Amazon is a big one here. You see, they closed out on Thursday at 172, which is pretty low for Amazon lately, and they're now below 170 this morning, down close to 2% this morning. 169. This is pretty close to the price that I paid for it not too long ago during Liberation Day and when everything was tanking. So pretty big dip here. Going to be curious to see if this is going to continue once the market opens, what investors are going to be doing there. Moving over to Meta now, close to 2% dip for Meta pre-market this morning. They're under $500 now, $493. Not too long ago, I bought them in the 480s during, again, the dips right around Liberation Day. So again, they're approaching that price that I bought it for not too long ago. And then lastly, Google under 150 here, 149, down again, closer to 1% now, but still a little over. I got Google at low 140, so I think it was 142, somewhere around there. You can see pretty close to their 52-week low here is what I got it for. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Google, seeing if they can break any lower today, especially trying to figure out what happens when the market opens. Those are some of the big movers here today. If we look up the volatility index here, let's see what the volatility index is at this morning. So it's looking like it's right around 32, so over 30. Let me refresh this page since that price seemed to be incorrect. There we go. So we see it's above 30 now, which above 30 is usually a pretty good sign to be buying stocks whenever the VIX goes above 30. I'll be doing a video on the VIX and what that all means in future videos, but when the VIX is above 30, that's definitely time to keep an eye on the market and potentially start buying. So we see that it was pretty low, throughout this past week. If we look at the 5-day chart here, we'll see that it didn't necessarily spike too much during the past 5 days. It actually got a little bit lower from where it was. But looking at it this morning, we see that it's crossed back over that 30 limit. And so we might be starting to look at buying some stocks here today. So that being said, what stocks am I looking at? What stocks am I potentially going to buy given they hit some good prices? So a lot of the ones I'm going to be keeping my eye on are the ones that we went over here today. Some of the big tech stocks, a couple in the Magnificent Seven, all right? Going to be keeping an eye on those. For NVIDIA, I do like this price for NVIDIA, but I'm going to see if that can get a little bit lower before I start making some purchases on them. AMD's low is in the 70s, so I'm not even going to touch AMD. I have some AMD already. This is still a great buying price for AMD, but I'm going to be holding off. I'm going to be seeing if it can get a little bit lower, maybe break under 80 before I go and purchase any more of it. However, if you don't have a position on AMD, now is a great time to open one with the price that we're seeing right here. Amazon's looking pretty attractive already right now. Again, I got it for mid 60s during the Liberation Day dip. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on Amazon and seeing what happens. Maybe once the market opens, this might get driven even lower. So the next one, obviously Meta. I said I got Meta in the 480s. So again, keeping an eye out there. I do have a lot of Meta already. So I'm not too concerned about purchasing at this price, but getting Meta under under $500 is a steal right now. You can see their PE for the trailing 12 months is 21. We can go ahead and look at their forward PE, but I can do another video in depth on Meta later. But this is still a great price to get Meta at. And then a couple others that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is MU, which is Micron. You see here, Micron's down to 67 today, down 2%. They're a memory chip manufacturer, and they're starting to break into the AI space. But while they're not processing chips, they're the memory chips. So storing all of that information in active memory. So not hard disks, but active memory. So they're starting to become huge in the AI space as well. You can see this is a great price for them. You see their PE now for the trailing 12 months is 16, while it's sitting at $67 right here. So that's a great buy. That's a steal right here. And then a couple others, just pretty much keeping an eye on all of the rest of these tech stocks. I am also going to be keeping an eye on Whirlpool. So Whirlpool is an interesting stock. You can see they're down pre-market, but not nearly as bad as the others. They are a pretty beaten down stock over the past couple years even. But one of the most attractive parts of Whirlpool here is this $7 dividend that they're going to be paying out in quarterly installments, which comes out to, at its current price, is 8.8%, which is a great dividend for a company to have. But again, Whirlpool is, it's a tricky stock. I will definitely be doing a video later diving into Whirlpool. I would not recommend buying Whirlpool yet until you go through and do your own research, or keep an eye out for my video when that comes out. All right. But those are the big movers here this morning. That's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on today. And maybe if some of these prices are good enough, we're going to be buying some stocks this morning. All right. So have fun out there. Keep an eye on all of these prices. Comment down below some of the stocks that you're going to be looking for today. And if you end up buying anything today, let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video.